Hello, my name is Cassandra Struble. Welcome to today's practice. For today's practice, we will need a mat and our blocks. We're going to begin today's class by starting out on our backs. And with each inhale, we're going to feel our chest rising just a little bit. And with each exhale, we just want to feel that shift with our eyes closed. We want to begin to kind of move around in our shoulders, maybe in our hips. Just starting to bring all of our back onto our mats. With each exhale, again, just relaxing, letting ourselves surrender towards the earth as we move into fall. It's a good time to remind ourselves to become grounded, to allow ourselves to really relax, and allowing ourselves to breathe and let go. So let's go ahead and slowly bring our hands onto our chest. And as we bring our hands onto our chest, let's take some time here to slow our breath down. So inhaling through our nose, exhaling slowly through our mouth, inhaling through our nose, slowly out of our mouth, using that Darth Vader breath or our Ujjayi, just slowing down that exhale. Sinking in towards the earth. And as we can feel our exhale shifting our shoulders down, maybe lifting and adjusting our head on the mat, maybe moving around in that neck while we're here. Maybe starting to move our feet, but keeping our eyes closed and our minds focused on that breath. Now slowly bringing our hands down towards our middle belly. And as we do so, we want to go ahead and feel our hands beginning to expand. We can make a triangle with our fingers so our thumbs are touching, pointer fingers are touching. We're just going to rest those thumbs up underneath our rib cage. We're going to exhale our elbows down towards the earth. We want to just begin to breathe through our bellies here, nice and slow. With each inhale, we can feel a nice big expansion. Each exhale, again, just feeling ourselves settling down, seeing how our lungs begin to lift up and expand with that inhale, slowly filling into our diaphragm, and with each exhale, slowly shifting down towards the earth. Now on our next exhale, let's come down to our hips. So we can either rest our elbows on the floor and our hands on our hips, or we can keep that triangle pattern, and this time we can allow for our thumbs to rest on, above, or below our belly button. And we want to just begin to breathe into those hips, nice big breaths. With each exhale, we want to feel our body shifting down towards the earth. Inhaling, expanding that body. Exhaling, relaxing down. Again, keeping that breath of slow inhale through our nose. And a nice slow exhale out of our mouth. Now let's go ahead and slowly bring our knees into our chest to start this evening. And let's just take a little bit of time to move side to side here. And as we're moving side to side, let's keep with that breath. Inhaling through our nose, gently sighing out of our mouth. So making it a little bit more evident in our mind when we drift off. Now let's take those knees in a circle here, either direction. And slowly switching directions with our breath. Keeping that pace of inhaling through our nose. Exhaling our mouth. Just allowing for ourselves to come down towards the earth. Now let's go ahead and drop our feet down towards either side. And as we drop our legs down towards either side, we're going to bring our hands up to shoulder height. And as we bring our hands up to shoulder height, let's go ahead and extend our fingers as wide as we can. And then we can go ahead and look back towards our hands that are opposite of our knees. So if we've dropped our knees to the right, let's go ahead and look left. Now we can choose to leave our knees stacked, or we can extend that top leg nice and long. And we can leave it stacked over that bottom leg. And we're gonna bring that toe back towards our knee. Nice big stretch here, stretching through those arms. And with our eyes, let's slowly look over our shoulder. Nice big, good breaths. With each inhale, just allowing for our body to come in. With each exhale, allowing for that heel to stretch out. Now let's go ahead and blink our eyes, bringing our vision. We're gonna stay here with our legs, but we're just gonna turn our head to face the same direction as our legs. And then again, stretching out with our fingertips. And then slowly bringing that leg in line. If it is extended, we're going to roll over to the other side, dropping our knees down. Once we drop those knees, again, hands out nice and wide. Let's turn our head and look over our shoulder that's opposite of our knees. And then we're going to bring our eyes into the stretch, really looking. And if our leg is nice and extended, it is sitting on top of that lower leg. And we're going to flex through that heel all the way, bringing those toes back. Nice big stretch here. Again, with each exhale, we're still trying to breathe out of our mouth. Now slowly blinking our eyes, keeping our legs and hands where they are. We're going to shift our head to the other side. Looking at our hand, nice big stretch out with our fingers. Now let's go ahead and slowly bring our knees into the center. Once we bring our knees into the center, let's go ahead and get a little crunch in here. So keeping our knees where they are at, or we can bend so we can get a 90-degree angle, whichever we will choose. And as we inhale, we're just bringing that chin up towards the sky. We're not trying to curl our back towards our chest. We're just inhaling, squeezing our abs, lifting that chin up towards the sky, shifting those shoulders. Nice and slow. Let's take our time so we're breathing through our mouth. Slowing down that movement. Controlling the up and the down. And then slowly lowering down towards the earth. Now we're going to shift through the center. Inhale, slowly twisting through. Exhale, lowering down towards the earth. Keeping a nice pace with that breath. Now let's slowly lower our feet and our head down towards the earth, coming into our constructive rest pose. And as we do so, let's go ahead and bring that right heel onto our left knee, opening up our hip. Coming in for our supine 4 here. Now we can choose to stay here in our supine 4, really pressing that knee away from our belly button. Or we can choose to inhale, bring that left leg in towards our chest. Either which way, we're going to keep that toe nice and flat. Really allowing for our bodies to open up. Continuing with those nice big inhales through our nose. Slow exhale through our mouth. Now, if we are in our supine pigeon, let's go ahead and drop that foot down towards the earth. Bringing our hands up behind us, nice and big and slow. Let's inhale, coming through the middle, twisting to that side. Back to the center, lowering down, nice and slow. Really taking our time here as we move. And then slowly, let's lower back down towards the earth. And we're gonna switch feet here. So left heel is gonna come up onto our right knee. For a second here, let's push that knee away from our belly button, toe pointing towards our knee. Now we can choose to stay here in that deep in that hip stretch, or we can choose to inhale, bringing our right knee into our chest, and allowing for ourselves to fall back. Nice big breaths. And then exhale, lowering down towards the earth. Let's go ahead and come across with that crunch. Inhale, coming up across that body. Again, we're creating a good, solid pattern here with our breath. Exhaling down towards the earth. Let's go ahead and place both feet on our mat. And we're gonna slowly begin with a gentle hip flex here, our gentle pelvic tilt. So we're gonna tilt our pelvis up towards the sky and then exhale, pressing it down towards the earth. Now, when we come down, we wanna make sure that we're pressing all of our back onto our mat, not really creating an arch in that lower back. So again, taking our time, if we're still going with that exhale out of our mouth, we're slowing down that movement. Feeling ourselves slowly melting into the earth with each and every exhale. Now coming back to center with our bodies, let's go ahead and walk those feet out as wide as our mat. And let's take a nice big inhale with those hands up over our head. As we do so, we want to press all of our back into our mat, extending those fingers nice and long here. Slowly begin to inhale, expanding our bellies nice and big. And as we exhale, we're just slowly shifting down towards the earth. Taking our time with our breath here. Let's begin to slowly start to rock from side to side. Now let's go with the slowest movement we've ever done in our life. With each pass through the middle, kind of lengthening through our belly from our hips to our belly button, to our ribs. Big, long stretch. Coming through the middle and reaching nice and big, slowing it down, making it the slowest movement you've done all day long, short of sleeping. Feeling all of our back gently pressing as we come through the middle. Feeling that length in our spine, that we can gently expand each vertebrae. Now let's go ahead and slowly come over into all fours. Let's get on with our cat-cow. So as we come in for our cat-cow here, we want to round our back out nice and big. As we inhale, we want to drop that belly down towards the earth. Nice big exhale, rounding out our back. Again, good time to close our eyes and start to feel that movement through the center. Each and every breath, just moving nice, slow. Now let's slowly move into a flowing spinal balance, nice and slow, coming through the center, starting a nice movement here, reaching in opposite directions. Nice flow here, each inside. And slowly coming down to all fours. Let's go into that cat-cow with our barrel roll. So moving through the middle, shifting our hips, exhaling into that cow, or into our cat, sorry. Shifting to the other side before we inhale into our cow. Moving around nice and slow. Let's switch directions with our barrel roll here. Feeling our hips shifting and lowering, feeling our spine moving around. Now let's slowly come back to center. We're gonna lower down into our forearms, interlacing those fingers, toes turning under. Nice big push up into that dolphin. Really pushing our toes nice and long. Bottoms are coming up towards the sky. All of our weight is in our booty. Heels are just lengthening down to lengthen out the back of that leg. We want to feel the stretch in the back of all of our legs. And then exhale, lowering down. Let's go ahead and come back into all fours. We're going to move through that spinal flow. One more time. Spinal balance flowing on each side. Moving nice, slow, nice and fast. You really want to get those spines warmed up. You want to keep that core nice and locked. Now coming back to all fours. This time let's go ahead and slowly begin to lower down one more time onto those forearms. Inhaling, coming up onto our toes. Into that dolphin one more time. Bottom is coming up towards the sky. Our forearms are pressing us back with our bottom. That's going to bring our bottom up. That's going to allow for those heels to drop towards the earth and lengthen the back of all of our legs. Our head is just going to drop down in between our arms. And then exhale, slowly lowering down. Now let's go ahead and come into our side plank. So right hand down, right knee down, left foot's gonna extend nice and wide. Left hand's gonna reach up towards the sky. Now we can reach with those fingertips and that's gonna tighten our side here, nice. Now let's inhale and coming into that gate. We are gonna slowly flow between our gate and our side plank. So using our side muscles here. Keeping that flow moving on our sides nice and tight. Now let's go ahead and lower down onto all four. Once we come into all four, let's move to that spinal flow again. So in our spinal balance, flowing from side to side. Inhaling, reaching, exhaling, lowering down. Now let's go ahead and come into our side plank on the other side. So left knee down, left hand down. Right foot extends nice and long. Inhaling, opening that chest, fingers are reaching up towards the sky. We can go ahead and look up at those fingers if we'd like, but I want to reach up, not back. Now on that next exhale, coming down with that hand, coming into our gate. Exhale, lowering down into our side plank. Inhale, lowering or bringing ourselves up into our gate. Exhale, lowering down, using those side muscles. Bring them in. Work here. Now let's go ahead and slowly lower down onto all four. time, we're gonna bring that crunch underneath us. So reaching, opposite hand, opposite foot, elbow to knee, back out, dropping it down, switching sides, inhaling long, bringing our knee to chest or touch, knee to elbow, extending out long, bringing it down, extending out, knee to elbow, back extended, lowering down, switching sides, getting that extra crunch underneath here, moving in that core. Crunching up when we can. Now slowly coming back to all fours. Let's slow again, lower down on those forearms. And releasing our fingertips, coming up onto our toes, pressing in through those heels. Nice, big stretch in that dolphin. Forearms are pushing so that we are coming back, bringing that bottom up towards the sky. We're going to slowly drop those heels down, lengthening all the back of our legs. Exhale, slowly lowering down to all four. Let's open our knees up as wide as our mat. Shifting our weight back towards our heels, coming into our child's pose. We can stack our fists. We can stack our forearms. We can bring our head to a block or towards the ground. Either which way, once we find where our spot is with our head, let's slowly begin to move our head from side to side on that surface. As we move from side to side, coming back to that nice full exhale. Feeling our belly on our thighs. Really pressing out any tension. And then slowly coming back towards the center. Let's go ahead and just gently press our forehead right between our eyes onto that surface that we've chosen. Let's take a nice big sigh here. Now slowly coming up, removing that block from underneath us. Knees are going to come underneath us. We're going to extend those hands back out. We're going to flow between our child's pose and our down dog here. Fingers are nice and wide. Hands are extended. Using that breath to inhale, bring us up. Exhale, lower down. Slowly transitioning, keeping our hands where they are. Nice big inhale into that down dog. Slowly making our way into our full expression. Let's go ahead and meet up in that down dog. Here where we meet, let's move to our crouching there. So we're going to bend those knees. We're going to press all of our weight back with the palm of our hand. Weight is in our bottom and in our heels. Nice big stretch here, tightening those bellies up towards our spine. Extending those legs nice and long, dropping those heels towards the earth. Dropping our head down, shaking our head yes and no. Now inhale, looking up at our hands, still really pressing our weight back to that bottom, lengthening those legs just a little further. Now slowly walking our hands and feet together, coming into our forward fold. Now here in our forward fold, let's take a moment to shake our head yes and no, or shake it out. Let's take a nice big inhale, and as we exhale, allowing that belly to really sink onto our thighs. Bringing our belly onto the thighs, we're going to bring our hips up to the sky, and we're going to lengthen out the back of those legs. Now inhaling, pressing our hands onto our shins, looking up to that monkey. Exhaling, lowering down. Nice big inhale, hands are going to come around our body, lifting up to the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Let's grab a sip of water real quick and a block. If we have it, we are going to come to the top of our mat once we get that. And we are going to take our one block, and if we have two, we can use both blocks. but for sure we need one. We can choose with the second. So with our blocks, let's go ahead and take one block, placing it between our thighs. So we're gonna do this with our chair. So when we place that block between our thighs, we wanna be able to squeeze that block and feel comfortable. So if we need to move it around till we find that place, kind of squeeze it a couple times so we feel like we can actually apply pressure. Now looking down at our feet, making sure our feet are straight and that all four corners of our toes are planted. So if we have to, maybe sliding that big toe in. Then we can take our other block and use that as our lever, or we can just work with our hands straight up. So let's go ahead, first things first, let's squeeze that block as we sit our bottoms back towards the wall behind us. Keeping our other block at heart center, let's begin to squeeze that block between our thighs. Again, making any adjustments we need to when we're down here. We don't have to hold something that is uncomfortable. We want to more feel that squeeze. Squeezing our thighs here. Now let's begin to slowly press onto that block with our hands. So hands on the outside of that block, palms gently pressing with our thighs. Everything's pressing in. Bottom is still staying back. Now on our exhale, taking our hands out in front of us like we are trying to hand our block to somebody. And let's really reach while we're pulling that bottom back. Squeezing with those thighs. Now let's slowly lower that right elbow down to our left knee, looking over that shoulder with that twisted chair. Now we might need to think about where our back is. We want to stay straight, so we may have to come up. We want to sink that bottom back towards the wall behind us. Thighs are still squeezing here. Eyes are looking over that shoulder. Inhaling, slowly coming back to center. Let's go ahead and shift to the other side, squeezing again on that block. Looking over our shoulder, elongating that back, being about from our tail to our crown in one big line. Now slowly coming back to center. Let's remove that block and shake it out for a second. Now let's wiggle around here. Shifting from side to side. We can use those blocks to kind of hit us and make a funny noise if you want. Now let's shake our right leg out. Let's shake our left leg out. We can do the hokey pokey. No. All right, so let's come back to our blocks. Taking one block, putting it between our thighs here. Checking out our feet. Are our feet straight and our toes in? Can we feel the mat with all four corners? Now let's take some time to squeeze that block and then release. And squeeze that block with our thighs. Can we do it harder? And then release. Now this time when we squeeze that thigh, let's take our belly button, let's take our lower belly up towards that belly button as we squeeze. And then release, relaxing everything we can think of. Adjusting any way we need to. Let's do that again. Squeezing on that block, and then let's squeeze that lower belly up towards our, squeeze the lower belly up towards our belly button. And then exhale, slowly shifting that bottom back. Thinking about that belly button still staying up. Hands are in front of us. Squeezing the block with our hands and with our thighs. Get too far back. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing everything in. Really pushing that bottom back towards the wall and squeezing with those thighs, pushing ourselves here just a little bit. Now keeping that block squeezed with our thighs, let's reach out and hand that block to somebody else, settling our bottom back. Thinking about our spine being in line. Now let's go ahead and exhale, turning our body, right elbow to left knee, looking over that shoulder, squeezing on that block between our thighs still. Feet are connected. Now coming back to center, let's offer that block again. Squeezing with those thighs, thinking about the rest of our body working. If our thighs are squeezing, can our belly squeeze in and make it easier? Can our bottom squeeze up and make it easier on those thighs? Now shifting to the other side, thinking about that. Can that bottom really help? Which bum are we going to use? Can we lift that lower bum? Now inhaling back to center, bringing that block back to center. Let's squeeze everything in one more time. Taking out all of our anger, squeezing our thighs, squeezing our hands as hard as we can. Get it all out. And then exhale, relax, release ourselves. Let's shake that out. We're gonna roll around here. We can allow those blocks to hit ourselves. We can throw our blocks. We can throw our blocks down. We can throw them any way we like. Whew. Slowly coming back to center. Let's shake our left leg and our right leg out a little bit. Now let's slowly bring our feet out nice and wide. We're gonna come in for our sunflowers. Inhaling, hands up. Exhaling, hinging at those hips, picking those flowers up. Bring them into the air, throwing them into the air. Now if we want here, let's switch it up. Let's get a little squat, bringing ourselves halfway back, sitting down, squatting back. And let's do that one more time, squatting. Now let's go ahead and come into our full sunflower here. Now let's come into that squat a few times. So squeezing our thighs and our bottom here, lowering down. Now in for our 5-pointed star, stretching ourselves out nice and big. Stretching, tightening that lower belly up towards that belly button again. Pushing our hands out further. Let's come in with some moonflowers. So sitting back on that bottom, elbows are gonna come into our sides. Exhaling, squeezing out. Feet are nice and connected. So we wanna think about squeezing those thighs as we come up into our 5-pointed star. Using our breath. Nice big squeeze on our thighs. Now on our next chance, let's go ahead and come up to that 5-pointed star. And let's go ahead and exhale, hinging on our hip. Wide-legged straddle forward fold. Now let's go ahead and take a nice big inhale. And as we exhale, lowering our belly onto our thighs, lowering the crown of our head down towards the earth. Nice big stretch up the back of our legs. Really think about rising up that tail towards the sky, head dropping down. Now let's shift a little side to side here in a little side lunge. If we need to move our feet out a little bit wider, we can. We're just gonna move side to side. Head is still hanging down. Weight is in our bottom as we are shifting. Keeping those inner thighs working here a little bit longer. Stretching them nice and long. Now coming back to middle, shifting that bottom up towards the earth, dropping our head down. Let's go ahead and walk our hands out. One hand, this is shifting that hip back in for our wide-legged down dog. Now walking our feet in just a little bit, we're gonna come into our power squat here. So being able to come down softly with that bottom into a nice squat. We wanna be able to rest our hands on our thighs or inside of our thighs. If we're inside of our thighs, we're pressing out with our elbows. Bottom is coming back, not shifting down, so that's helping us holding that breath, squeezing our bottoms. Exhale, lowering our hands down towards the earth, lifting that bottom up towards the sky. Nice, big forward fold here. Now slowly coming back into that squat one more time. Finding that place, slowly shifting our weight into that bottom, moving our feet as needed, placing our hands where we are comfortable, squeezing those thighs. Nice big stretch. Squeezing, 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 continue to squeeze. Exhale, lowering back down into our straddle forward fold. And let's shift left and right here again into our side runner lunge. Head is hanging down. Now slowly coming back to center, let's walk our hands towards our right foot. And we're gonna look over that shoulder. And slowly shifting back through the center. We're gonna look over our shoulder. Now slowly coming back to center, nice head drop down. Nice big inhale, squeezing those thighs, bottoms, coming up into that 5-pointed star. One more time, toes are turned out, in for that moonflower. Coming in, squeezing our elbows into our sides. Nice little squat back. Thinking about each time we come up, really squeezing those thighs, squeezing our lower part of our bums. Now slowly coming back up. Let's lower down, release ourselves. We're gonna slowly come up to the top of our mats. And as we come up to the top of our mat, let's go ahead, nice big inhale, hands coming up. Exhaling, forward fold, hinging at our hips. Now here in our forward fold, let's come in for our gorilla. We have 3 options for gorilla. We can place our hands on our calves and push our belly onto our thighs. We can place our hands behind our knees, hooking those hands, squeezing that belly towards our thighs. Or we can go full gorilla. We're gonna lift that left foot up, placing our left hand underneath, right foot placing our right hand underneath, and then we're gonna step onto the palms of our hands. Slowly pressing that bottom up towards the sky, dropping the crown of our head down towards the earth. We can soften those knees if we need to. We're not trying to lock our knees. We're trying to press our belly onto our thighs and taking our head down towards the earth. Big breath here. Now slowly removing our hands from whatever posture we have chosen. Let's slowly begin to walk our feet back into that down dog. Nice big stretch here in that down dog. Let's walk our dog here, one leg and then the other. So let's go ahead slowly back into that down dog. Let's place our left heel onto the mat, lifting that right leg up into the sky, continuing to press all of our palms back. We're gonna bend that right knee. We're gonna point our toes towards our knee, and then we're just gonna gently look underneath that armpit, still pressing all of our weight back to our bottom. Stretching out that thigh. And then exhale, slowly releasing that foot, bringing it down towards the earth. We're gonna press that right foot in towards the earth, taking our palms, pressing our weight, lifting that left foot up, bending at that knee, toes gonna point back at our knee. We're gonna look underneath that armpit, nice and slow. Squeezing our belly here. Exhale, slowly coming back to center. Let's go ahead and slowly drop onto all fours and then onto our forearms, interlacing those fingers. We're gonna slowly pull our bottom back towards the wall behind us, nice slow puppy dog. And we can either leave our head in line with that spine, or we can drop our head down towards the earth, using our forearms to really press us back. Now inhaling, bringing those toes underneath us, nice big dolphin here. Pressing all of our weight back to that bottom. Head is hanging in between our arms. And then as we lift that body, pressing it back, taking our weight, dropping those heels. Exhale, lowering back down. Let's go ahead and come onto our bellies. Nice and slow. As we come into our bellies, we're gonna go for our bow. So as always, we do have a choice with our bow. We can do our full bow expression, which is just coming onto that belly, reaching back. Both legs are arched. Or we can choose to do our side bow, which I'm gonna do tonight. We're gonna roll over onto one side, slowly reaching down for that ankle, coming into a quad stretch here. And then once we come into that quad stretch, finding that comfortable place on our side, balancing on that side. Now let's think about slowly starting to arch our back and open up our chest here in our side bow. So we're slowly shifting that heel towards our bottom. Nice big stretch in that thigh. And slowly releasing that leg. If we are in our full bow, we are releasing both feet for a second. Taking a little breath. If we are doing our side bow, we're coming to the other side. Nice big inhale, reaching for our ankle, our toe, our heel. And then as we come into that side bow, let's think about opening up that chest, crunching up that lower back, nice and slow. Really opening up our chest. And exhale, slowly releasing. Now nice and slow, let's come up. Before we come into our seat, let's try something a little bit different tonight. Let's go ahead and come up onto our knees. And we're gonna take our knees out a little bit wider than our hips. So I'm gonna face you guys to start. And then we're gonna slowly lower our weight back towards our heels. Just a little bit here, and then we're gonna arch that back up. So we're starting to work towards a modified hero, but it's modified. So we're gonna arch that back, and we can place our weight onto our heels, but our knees are nice and wide. And as we are arching, we just rest our fingers on our back or on a thing. We don't wanna put too much pressure in our knees. So lifting that chest up. And then exhale, coming forward onto all fours. Let's go ahead and get a cat-cow in here. Now slowly taking our hips out as wide as we can. Slowly lowering that bottom back towards our heels, walking our hands towards our crotch. Slowly coming on to a modified hero. So again, we can reach our hands back, we can keep our hands in front. If we are uncomfortable, we can always come on to our wrists. Really trying to stretch out deep in those thighs, deep in our quads. Wherever's most comfortable. Let's go ahead and exhale, releasing ourselves. Let's go ahead and grab a chair or a seat. Beginning to really just listen to our breath and giving ourselves just a little time to breathe. So as we are taking our next inhale, as we exhale, let's find that place that we are comfortable. So either coming into our constructive rest pose, or we are choosing to come into our extended mountain, or maybe even our 5-pointed star. We're taking a time to really choose which is most comfortable. And then as we take a nice big inhale on that exhale, let's go ahead and take a nice big sigh. Inhaling, nice big sigh. And as we come, begin listening to our breath. Just allowing ourselves to hear our breath. Allowing ourselves to just listen. Let's go ahead and feel where our hands are connected to our mats. Let's feel where our spine is connected to our mats. And let's focus on our feet and the way they are feeling. Let's imagine that they are heavy. Our feet and our toes, the bones of our feet, the joints of our ankles, and between our toes, everything is just feeling heavy, as if we are just soaking in sand. Making sure that as we are feeling heavy, we are allowing the earth to come up and meet us, and allowing us to begin to let go of our tension, knowing that we are secure where we are at. And as we are here, we are feeling heavy. Let's feel heavy in our lower back. So maybe feeling not only our legs from our feet to our knees, to our bottoms, but also the weight of our hips, almost as if we cannot press or be any heavier against the earth. Now let's imagine that our lower back, our stomach, are all of our digestive organs, our heart, our lungs, our ribs, our chest, our upper back, our shoulders, are just feeling heavy. We can feel every vertebrae in our spine. We can feel our shoulders spreading out. And we can notice as we concentrate, as if everything is dissolving. Feeling as if we're sinking further into that sand. We're feeling it in our bones. And we're letting go of any tension we're holding in our bellies. We're letting go of any pain or tension in our heart. And we're just starting to feel our chest and our shoulders just feeling very heavy. And let's allow that feeling to come up into our neck, to our lower jaw, to our face, to our cheeks, all the way up to the crown of our head. And let's pay special attention to where the back of our neck holds any tension, and allowing for our head and our neck to just feel heavy. Our shoulders are so relaxed, they're sinking, and we can feel that sinking, just releasing that tension. And we can feel as if our mind is clearing, and we are slowly beginning to find that place of peace. Now, as we are listening to our breath, really thinking through just the feeling of that breath. Noticing as we inhale, how without any effort, we exhale. It's just making our body feel heavier towards the earth. And let's slowly imagine that we're starting at the crown of our head and we're becoming extremely light. So feeling the top of our head being light, feeling the space around our neck and our face, almost as if they're floating. And then feeling our shoulders and our heart without all that tension, just breathing, feeling that breath moving freely. And then working our way down into our hips, thinking as if we are floating where we are at. We are so light. Almost as if our fingertips are barely touching the mat. Noticing with each inhale and each exhale, we're becoming lighter. Our hips are becoming lighter. Our tension is relieving. It's allowing our hips to settle, our knees to relax. And we feel so light, it's as if our feet are barely touching our mats. It's almost as if they're suspended. We can just notice that difference. We can notice how light we feel. And then as we're lying here, noticing the difference that our practice has brought into our evening, just allowing ourselves to release all the demands that others have put upon us. Let's choose to be happy. Let's accept that happiness is right now. Let's accept that we are responsible for our own happiness. In this moment, we are safe. We are secure. We are valued. We are needed. And more importantly, we are life. We are love. And we are joy. Every day and every way, we are becoming more positive. We are choosing change. We're choosing to be happy. And we're choosing to experience life. in this moment, we're choosing to be present. So let's just take a couple more seconds here to just come present on our mat and notice anything. Maybe it's the quiet and the calm around you. And let's slowly begin to flutter our eyes, move around. And let's slowly begin to bring ourselves up and into any easy seated posture of our choice. Go ahead and slowly bring our hands into our heart center. You can stay where we're at, we don't need to move. Let's take 3 nice big breaths to wrap up together. And on our third exhale, giving a nice big exhale out, reminding ourselves to relax into our evenings, to let go of our days, and to find some peace and stillness as we drift off to sleep. As always, I thank you guys for coming.